Welcome to Lola's Frugal Life Podcast. If you're on a mission to be more frugal with both your time and money, you're in the right place. In this podcast, we talk about topics that help enhance living a frugal lifestyle. The goal is to save time and money where we can so that we can use the rest on what matters most to us. We talk a lot about both time and money management so that we can waste as little as possible on both. We do this while also embracing a progress over perfection mindset. If that sounds good to you, then please stick around for the latest episode right after a few quick words from our sponsor.
Right now, get scary good deals on select Ring cameras and doorbells. See who's there. Keep your scaredy cats company.
Oh, it's okay, sweetie. I'll be home soon.
And protect your crypt from the real monsters.
Oh, come on. The sign says take one.
Save big on select Ring devices right now at ring.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lola's Frugal Life Podcast. So today I want to share with you that I have made a decision to discontinue the podcast, at least for right now. I'm not sure if I may return to it at some point. This has been a really difficult decision for me to make. I really love doing the podcast. I've been doing it now for 4.5 years, and I've really enjoyed doing it. It's not something that I ever thought I would have ever done, and I'm really proud of all the episodes I've created, and hopefully for the motivation I've provided to some of you for living a frugal life and managing your time, making the most of it. As many of you know, my youngest child is in college now, and while all of my kids do still live at home, they're all pretty independent now. So with this kind of change in my daily life, I've decided to put some more time into some other things that I've always wanted to do and already enjoy doing, but would like to spend more time with, things like gardening, reading, doing more day trips and things like that. And I do work full time. So as all of you know, whether you work full time or not, our time is still limited. And if our time wasn't limited and I could do all the things and the podcast and everything else, I would do all of it. But the reality is that in order to continue the podcast the way I want to do it, I'd have to give up some time for those other things too. And there are over 500 episodes of the podcast out there that will continue to be available for anyone to listen to. There's so many different topics that I've covered over the years on frugal living and time management and cleaning and everything else. Those will still all be out there. I will keep all of my social media open, including the Facebook group. So if you'd like to join over there, I do plan to still post over there. I'd like to do more actually in that group since I won't be doing the podcast episodes. I plan to continue to share over there some of the things that I've been previously sharing on the podcast, such as what I'm cooking, what I'm reading, any interesting Pinterest articles I might find on frugal living or recipes or time management, habits, anything, all the types of things that I've talked about on the show over the years. You're still welcome to come and join the podcast group on Facebook, even though I'm not going to be doing the weekly podcast anymore. You're welcome to join us over there, and I'm hoping that everybody that's in there might continue to stay because I do enjoy hearing about, your ideas and how you're living a frugal life and managing your time. I'm going to be keeping my YouTube channel up also. I do hope to finally have time to start getting around to making more of the cooking videos that I started doing at one point, but it was just too much for me to manage doing that and the podcast. But since I won't be doing the weekly podcast anymore, I'm hoping to be able to do more YouTube type videos. I do think at this time I'm still going to continue to do the weekly meal plans, but not as a podcast episode. I'm just going to post them on Pinterest and on the Facebook group. I'm also thinking about maybe doing some type of short on YouTube and Instagram with the weekly meal plan. I'm not really totally sure yet. I'm still just kind of figuring things out, but just letting you know that I'm not completely going away. I just really at this time want to eliminate the weekly commitment and the deadlines that are associated with doing the podcast episodes. So I really appreciate all of you that have listened over the years and have left me reviews and have joined the Facebook group. And I just, I consider that even at my lower level of podcast success, I am really happy to have done this, and I appreciate that all of you have listened and supported over the years. And again, like I said, I'll still have the Instagram, I will still have the YouTube channel, and I will still have the Facebook group. So I do plan to share and post things related to frugal living. I just won't be doing the podcast anymore, at least at this time. I'm not certain. I may decide at some point to come back to do more episodes in the future. We'll see if that happens. But at this time, I'm going to definitely put that indefinitely on hold, at least as of now. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I don't have a new topic to discuss. Like I said, there's so many more that are out there that I've already done. So if there's any certain topics you're looking for, you can search. I did double check, and the podcasts that I've recorded are on Apple Podcasts going all the way back to the very beginning. So if you are unfortunately new to the podcast and now you're just getting this episode that I'm ending the podcast, please feel free to go back and search through all those episodes if you're trying to look for some motivation for frugal living, meal planning, time management, or any of those topics. And again, join the Facebook group if you're interested. I'd love to talk to you about frugal living topics over there, or time management, or anything like that. And I will still share over there. And hopefully I will have some more time now to do some more cooking videos and some of those other things that I've been interested in doing that don't have as much of a time commitment as the podcast does. Not in terms of that they don't take a lot of time. I just won't have like deadlines associated with them. So that's it for today. I won't see you here next week like I usually say at the end of each episode. But again, I'm not going away completely, just not having the weekly podcast episodes. So again, thank you so much for everyone who has listened over the years, and I will see you at some point soon, whether that is on social media, on the other areas, on YouTube, on the podcast group, or maybe someday in the future in a future podcast episode. Thanks again. So thank you for checking in for this podcast episode. And don't forget, you can always email me with any questions or suggestions at lolasfrugallife@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Lola's Frugal Life. And you can find a blog post for most of my episodes, and definitely all of my meal plan episodes, at lolasfrugallife.com. You can also join our private listeners group at facebook.com/groups/lolasfrugallife. And if you enjoy the show, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen from. And I would love it if you would screenshot the show and tag me on Instagram so I could see you're listening. Also, if you can please take a couple of seconds to rate and review the podcast. Those ratings and reviews are what help the show come up better in search results so that other people can find this podcast. So that will really help me in growing my audience. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.